Once upon a time, in a kingdom known by all as Salako, there resided a very wealthy and influential family, well known as the Emekas. The Emekas were so wealthy and owned more lands than the kingdom itself. It was rumored that their ancestors were very fortunate to discover gold on their land, which they sold to the Westerners. They were so rich that they were given more respect than the king of Salako. The Emekas lived in a very big mansion built in Salako. The mansion contained so many chambers that it could accommodate the whole community. It was bigger and more beautiful than the palace itself. The Emekas and their different families lived in the mansion. They had many maids and servants to attend to their needs, and they lived in peace and harmony. In the mansion were 10 families who were all under the leadership of the eldest and richest son called Ifeanyi. However, Ifeanyi was uneducated, so he married a very beautiful woman called Angela. Unlike the other women in the family, Angela was very intelligent, so Ifeanyi trusted her with the affairs and finances of the mansion. But Angela was equally arrogant and pompous because she knew she was more intelligent than the other women in the family. She treated them harshly, so they feared her. They had to beg her for everything because she was the wife of the eldest son, and their husbands were the younger brothers of her husband. Angela had maids and servants for everything she wanted, so she lived like a queen. She was impatient and cruel to anyone who dared to disrespect her. Everyone in the mansion was aware of her superiority, and her dominance extended to the people of Salako. She rarely left the mansion, but whenever she entered the kingdom, everyone feared and trembled at her presence, as if she was the queen of the village. Even the king of Salako kingdom respected her personality. Angela had everything she wanted, except for one thing: a child of her own. She was barren and had no child. She had tried with her husband Ifeanyi for many years, but she couldn't get pregnant. They had both visited all the physicians, all the best doctors in Salako kingdom, and even the neighboring kingdoms, but none of them could provide a solution to her barrenness. This was one of the reasons Angela was very bitter towards the other women in the house. She was jealous and envious of them because they had beautiful kids, while she had none. On a fateful day, one of Angela's maids was sick, but she was scared to inform Angela. When she was bringing food for Angela, she tripped over and fell because she wasn't too strong. But out of anger, Angela slapped the maid and chased her out of the house. Then she asked her henchman to get another maid from the village. After some hours, her henchman brought a young, beautiful girl to Angela as her new maid. Her name was Chioma. Chioma was only 18 years old. She was an orphan who was abandoned at the orphanage when she was a baby. There were no records of her parents, so she grew up in the orphanage. When she was 17 years old, a family came to adopt her. They seemed so nice, so Chioma accepted to go with them. However, a few months after Chioma started living with them, the woman got pregnant and eventually gave birth to her own child. After she gave birth to her own child, she started maltreating Chioma and treating her badly. When Chioma couldn't bear it anymore, she ran away from the family. But she couldn't go back to the orphanage. So every day she would buy cheap vegetables from farmers and sell it at a higher price in the market. But she had no home and was living in an abandoned cabin in the forest. When Angela's henchman came to the market square looking for a maid and promising a very good pay, Chioma volunteered to fill in the position, but she had no idea that she would be the maid to Angela, the most feared woman in all of Salako Kingdom. Unlike the other maids Angela had, Chioma was different. When the other maids were in the company of each other, laughing and gisting and chatting away, Chioma would be seated at a corner all by herself, and this made Angela dislike her. Angela felt Chioma was being proud and arrogant. She didn't know that Chioma had a very difficult and isolated childhood. At every slight mistake, Angela would pounce on Chioma and give her a slap or a beating. Chioma wanted to leave, but compared to the cabin where she lived and was selling vegetables under the hot sun every day, enduring Angela's brutality seemed a better option. One day, Angela wanted to have a warm bath, so she instructed Chioma to fetch some hot water for her. Chioma fetched a kettle of hot water as instructed, but while she was pouring the water into the bathtub, Angela dipped her hand into the water and flared up in anger. She screamed at Chioma that the water was too hot, and out of anger, she collected the kettle of hot water and splashed it on Chioma's body. Chioma started screaming in pain and quickly removed her gown. As Angela watched her wail, she saw a birthmark on Chioma's back. The other maids came to rescue Chioma and rushed her to the hospital. But Angela stood frozen at the spot. The birthmark she saw on Chioma's back took her far back into her bitter past and a secret which she has hidden for many years. Angela wasn't born barren. When she was a teenager, she was sent to live with her aunt. But Angela was so beautiful that her aunt's husband started making advances at her. Angela was only a teenager, so she was confused. She reported the husband to her aunt, but her aunt slapped her for falsely accusing her husband. The following night, her husband sneaked into Angela's room and made love to her. It resulted in a pregnancy, and so her aunt chased her out of the house. Angela suffered and toiled for days on ending until she eventually gave birth to a beautiful baby girl with complications which affected her womb. However, she was too young to nurture a child, so she took the baby to the orphanage and dumped her at the entrance. But before she kept the baby, she used a sharp object to give the child a rare birthmark on the back. It was this birthmark that she saw on Chioma's back. Angela couldn't stop thinking about the birthmark she saw. She started having sleepless nights and was very disturbed. So she decided to do a background check on Chioma by going back to the orphanage to make inquiries. At the end of it all, she discovered that Chioma was indeed her daughter. Angela hated herself for treating Chioma so badly, not knowing Chioma was her daughter, despite how desperately she wanted a child of her own. When Chioma recovered from the injury Angela inflicted on her, there was a very big permanent scar on her face caused by the scalding hot water. Angela couldn't bear the burden anymore, and so she confessed to everyone in the mansion that Chioma was her daughter. She revealed the secret to everyone, and being so overwhelmed with pain and much regret, Angela developed a stroke, which left her paralyzed. Everyone accepted Chioma as her daughter, but Angela was confined to a wheelchair for the rest of her life. She lived each day in regret, seeing her daughter and the scar she inflicted on her face. She wished that she had been nice to everyone and not wicked. But it was too late. She sat on the wheelchair day by day and morning and night, watching everyone disrespect and ignore her. If she had been good to them, they would have been there for her now that she needed them the most. And if she had been nice to Chioma, her dream of having a child of her own would have been fulfilled positively. The end. The moral of the story is this: no one knows tomorrow. You may be a king today, and the next day you can be a slave. So treat everyone with love, including those far below you, because you never know what might happen tomorrow and who will come to your rescue.
Thanks for watching.